What is their relation? We are no longer sure. Seems 4 months now we're patient, and Avis is the cure.
Ah, my dear Avis, what a pleasure it is to see you. I have oft thought of our
I
last...
cannot tarry long. My husband will be expecting me home.
Of course. But, dear lady, is something the matter?
Of course. Do not all your querents come with a matter they wish an answer to?
Well, yes, but...
I wish to ask of the stars whether a man I am close with, a man who is not my husband, whether that man be also close with another woman.
A man you are... I see. Well, if I am to judge the stars for you, I must ask you to be more precise. In what sense do you mean close? The platonic bond of friendship?
Nay, close in the sense of being intimate.
I see. Then 'tis the familial tie of kinship, perchance.
Nay, I mean someone with whom I have shared physical relations.
Verily, madam, if I am to give you an accurate reading, you must state your question clearly.
Methinks you know full well what I ask. I bid you ask the stars whether my lover is, that is to say, be it true that he engages with another woman in acts of strumpy-humpy.
Madam, you astonish me. 'Tis unlike you to speak such indelicate words. Now, if I understand you correctly, you have a lover, and you wish to know whether he has been sharing his tender favours with another woman.
Aye, but did I not verily say so?
And now that we have at last fathomed your question, let us read the stars to fathom an answer. Has Mistress Allen's lover been unfaithful to her? The stars are most clear, madam. Your lover has not been coupling with another woman.
He has not.
Forsooth, the stars say that your mind has been turned by jealousy and confusion. Now, if there is nothing further, madam...
Oh, how relieved I am to hear you say this. Oh, Simon, what a fool I have been not to trust you.
But you... this lover... 'twas me all along? You were not speaking of some other man?
I beseech you, pardon me, Simon. I had to know the truth from the stars, for I did hear tell of other women.
But how could you not see? No other woman is to me so dear, and verily is it not clear to you that I...
Do you verily, Simon?
Oh, my dear, sweet Avis.
Cyril Fortescue always has what's new, far ahead of her friends. She oft gets her hands on goods from foreign
Good morrow, madam. I humbly welcome you to my consulting chambers, and thank you for choosing my practice. Mistress...
Fortescue, Mistress Sybil Fortescue.
Well then, Mistress Fortescue, what may I assist you with this day?
I come upon a most troubling matter, sir. I know not whether it is a medical matter or something else.
I see. Pray describe your trouble to me, madam.
Well, I suppose it all began with a dinner I hosted at my house last even. Mayhap you have heard of my dinners, Dr. Foreman. They are much talked about. Though I fear last evening's dinner will be talked about for all the wrong reasons.
Talked about, you say?
Yes, indeed, invitations to my dinners are much sought after, for I host the most desirable of guests, lords, bishops, poets, explorers, painters, and the like. Why, last eve I hosted the famous Robert Lord Devereux, the playwright William Shakespeare, and the Bishop of London and his wife. As well as fascinating conversation, at my table I serve the very latest and most original dishes. Last even, I served an exotic green vegetable called a potato. So crisp and refreshing. My dear husband sent them home to me from the New World. Doubtless you have heard of my husband, Captain Fortescue. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh.
I see. Your dinners do sound most excellent, Mistress Fortescue. But what occurred at last eve's dinner that has you so distressed?
Well, in truth, 'twas after dinner. We all felt a strong desire to take some air, and so we left the table to take a turn in some pleasure gardens nearby. But then, as we were walking along the path, right in the middle of the gardens, in full public view...
Pray do not distress yourself, madam. Prithee, take your time.
My guests and I were, all of a sudden, stricken with pain. We began chundering and voiding from our... But there was nowhere to turn, you see. There were no bushes close by to shield our modesty. 'Twas unspeakable.
A moment, madam, as I note this down. Abdominal pain and simultaneous upward and downward purging of a most sudden and violent nature. Now, let us see how these stars explain this most distressing and unsavoury event. What troubled Mistress Sybil Fortescue and her guests last eve? Madam, I think you said the New World vegetables you dined upon were green in colour, did you not? And you described them as crisp and refreshing, I think. I take it then that you served them to your guests green and raw?
Yes, indeed. Most of the potatoes my husband sent me were full dull and unhealthsome in appearance. Hence I served only the green ones. I had my cook cut them in such a way as to resemble roses. 'Tis the way I oft serve my apples.
Ah, then your trouble was a severe case of evil digestion. I have read that these vegetables can be noxious if they turn green.
Oh, my days! Do you mean I poisoned my guests?
In a manner of speaking, aye. But worry not, madam, for the suffering was but temporary. Indeed, it does sound as if the bodies of your guests were most comprehensively purged of the poison. However, in future be sure to cook the, potatoes until they are soft, and pray do not eat the ones that have turned green.
As God shall mend me! What a shameful affair this has been! I shall go home and, well, I shall write to my husband and ask that he includes cooking instructions with the next gift of food that he sends me. I thank ye and bid ye good day, Dr. Foreman.
comes a literary mind, one such as we do rarely find, just needs a man to be behind, for she's but a lady.
Good evening, Miss Lanier. What brings you?
I am come about my future, Dr. Foreman. I wish to know whether I will find success as a writer of poems and plays. You can predict futures, can you not?
You, madam? A writer of poems and of plays? Forsooth, how verily remarkable.
Well, 'tis true most of us Bassanos and Laniers are musicians, but I have chosen a different path. I've lately begun a collaboration with a poet and playwright, let us call him Mr. S. He is presently writing a play that takes place in northern Italy, and as I am of Italian heritage, he has asked me to help him write it.
How interesting. And does this collaboration betwixt you go well?
Right well, or so methinks. Indeed, Mr. S did suggest that I am full talented as a writer. Be not afraid of greatness, he told me. For once our play opens upon the London stage, our success will follow, as night follows day.
I see. Then what would you have me ask the stars, madam?
Well, I've noted that Mr. S, although a brilliant man, is oft prone to exaggerated melodrama and implausible plot resolutions. I wish to know whether this story of his, of our future success, is true.
Very wise of you, madam. Then let us see whether your success or failure is writ in the stars. Will Mistress Amelia Lanier find fame and fortune as a writer? It would seem Mr. S.'s confidence is not misplaced, for the stars foretell that if you have faith in your success, you will succeed. And your contribution to the world will reach beyond literature to be of great benefit to society.
So, in order to succeed, I must hold fast to a belief that I will succeed.
Just so, madam.
But what you are asking of me is right illogical, Dr. Foreman. Indeed, 'tis an impossibility. How can I maintain a belief that my success is inevitable when you have just informed me that my success is conditional and contingent? As Aristotle teaches us in
Mistress
his...
Lanier, mayhap I have confounded you with the nuances of my astrological reading. All you need know is that the achievement of your goals is very likely. Indeed, 'tis indicated that your collaboration with Mr. S. will be a fruitful one. Prithee, madam, look not for bad news among the good.
Aye, mayhap 'tis best I not overthink it, as you say. I thank ye, sir. Good even, Dr. Foreman.
Mistress Avis Allen, the love of foreman's life, how futile 'tis to fall for another man's wife.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you, madam. What service may I perform for you this day?
For me? None. None at all.
Verily. Then I cannot fathom why you...
'Twas my husband who bade me come, for he finds it difficult to speak of... As I say, he had me come in his stead, and I could think of no reason to give him for why I should not come.
I see. Then what is troubling your husband? Madam, I cannot treat a querent without knowing first what his troubles are.
He is unable to perform his marital duties.
I see, and whatever does that mean? Your husband forgets to put out the night soil? Some broken shelving he's neglected to fix? Prithee, madam, I bid you be more precise.
Ah, you know perfectly well what I mean, Simon. I bid you not drag this out any longer. Pray read the stars and let us get this over with.
As you wish, madam. Now, let us see. What ails Mr. Allen so as to render him unable to perform his marital obligations towards Mistress Allen? Mr. Allen is afflicted with a cold in the heart, caused by an imbalance of black bile. The treatment for this is quite simple. You have merely to add boiled snake to your husband's diet.
Oh, that is... 'Tis your full judgment on the matter, then?
Yes, he is to eat boiled snake flesh. Be sure to gut the snake first, however.
Then I will pass these instructions on to my cook. Well, I had best be going now.
Nay, prithee, bide a moment. If you will. The snake flesh cure, 'tis often effective, in truth. 'Tis also my judgment, as a physician, that for a wife to be so neglected, 'tis most unhealthsome. And so...
Oh, Simon...
Oh, Avis...
What? Doctors against him do make war. Doctors against him do make war. He makes love without a care. 'Tis true, Avis is not his by law. But in love and war is fair. But in love and war is fair.
Last even 'twas like a dream. Never in my life have I felt so... Oh, my sweet Avis, 'tis true you are married, but surely a love as great as ours can transcend such earthly impediments. Dare I hope for... Nay, 'tis most unlikely. Or is it? Forsooth, there be no harm in asking the stars. Might Avis Allen one day be mine? says Avis is one day to be widowed, which will, of course, be very tragical. But after the grieving is done, we will marry. She will be Mistress Foreman. Mistress Avis Foreman.
Almighty God, lead thy servant away from sin and temptation, lest his wife does him an evil. When the symptoms are and the questions are quick and from melodies are strange and ease of tis
Good morrow, sir, and well met.
Indeed, 'tis I, Riccardo Ferraro, come once again to the great Dottore Simon Foreman.
Aye, and I can see why you are come. Methinks you are not well, signor. The colour of your face is quite alarming.
It is because I am losing the blood. The blood does drain away from my face, away down my body, and out of my...
You are bleeding from your fundament. How much have you been bleeding, and for how long?
Un poco, not too much. It does come and go. Sometimes blood, sometimes no blood. You stop the blood, see?
Mayhap I will, but first I must consult the stars to find a diagnosis. What ails Signor Riccardo Ferraro? There is nothing here to worry about, Signor Ferraro. Your body is merely purging itself of corrupted blood, in a similar manner to that which does occur in a woman's nethers each month. To wit, 'tis most healthsome and natural.
Are you sure? Are you sure that is your final answer?
Indeed it is. I do assure you, Signor, 'tis the very latest medical thinking on the subject of hemorrhoids. You are welcome to procure a second opinion, but I warrant you will find that most doctors in London will tell you the same.
Then Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day, Signor Foreman.
This woman has a gift for words. If only she had riches words, they'd probably be much better words. Though written by a lady.
Did you see that?
See what, madam?
Your querent, Signor Ferraro, scuttling away from me like a frighted rabbit. What have I ever done to upset the man? All I did was wish him buongiorno as I passed him at the door.
Verily, Signor Ferraro's behaviour does sound full strange. But let us not think of him, but of the matter that brings you hither, Mistress Lanier. How do you fare?
I fare most well, in the main. For you spoke true when you said my collaboration with Mr. S would be fruitful. 'Tis going exceeding well. Verily, Dr. Foreman, I would be right content with my lot at present if it were not for the trouble I am come about this day.
Pray, tell me of this trouble, madam.
I am being prowled. Oftentimes in the night I see him following me home. One time methinks I even caught him looking at me through my window. I would have you tell me who this prowling man might be.
A prowler? How very worrisome. Can you describe this man to me?
Nay, for 'tis always at night that I spy him, and I have always been too frighted for my eyes to linger upon him very long.
Then let us see what light the stars can shed upon the identity of this man who hides himself in darkness. Who is the man prowling Mistress Lanier? Madam, how have relations betwixt you and Mr. Lanier been of late? Does he exhibit any signs of a cruel or controlling nature? Is he prone to violence?
Aye, indeed, Dr. Foreman. My husband uses uncouth words, throws my books about, and even breaks chairs when he is in a temper. All the more so after he overindulges in strong drink.
I am full sorry to hear it, madam, but it does solve our mystery, for the stars suggest that it is none other than your husband who has been prowling you.
Verily, in truth, it does not surprise me. I will to home go and tell my husband to...
Prithee, madam, for the sake of your safety, act not in haste. If confronted, your husband may do you harm.
There is truth in what you say. Forsooth, if Alfonso would spend his evenings following me about, mayhap I leave him to it. For if he hopes to catch me cuckolding him with another man, he will be exceeding disappointed.
Hear ye! Sir Walter Raleigh fails to find legendary Treasure City. Rumours say next Raleigh voyage is to Pot of Gold at End of Rainbow. Hear ye!
Here comes Emma, so kindly she, to the frail and aged she offers sympathy. What is she for others have? Especially when they're born of wealth. Here comes Emma, so kind-hearted is she.
Good day to you, Mistress Sharp.
Good day, Dr. Foreman. But I am Mistress Delamere now.
Mistress Delamere? But as I recall from my case notes... let me see now. 'Twas 3 years past. Aye, were you not hoping to marry a man named George Middleton?
Oh, yes. I did marry Mr. Middleton. For though I did tell my family what you said about his condition of the heart, they quite insisted that I marry him. And truly, they were full wrong to do so, for just as you predicted, Mr. Middleton did verily die of his cardiac passion, mere months after we were wed.
So soon? How very tragical.
I blame the Scotsman who took to playing his bagpipes below our bedroom window at odd hours of the day and night. Such a bothersome man. Betwixt him and the vipers Mr. Middleton discovered one morning nesting in his undergarments, I fear 'twas all too much for his poor, weak heart. Oh.
There, my dear lady. How distressing your late husband's death must have been for you.
Aye, indeed, Dr. Foreman, so much so that my friends urged me to marry again, lest I die of grief. But now that I am once more a wife, I would not wish to be widowed anew, and John Delamere, my present husband, is also an older man. Dr. Foreman, you must tell me whether there be any illness he has, whether there be anything I might do to save my dear sweet husband from an early death.
Then let us see what the stars have to say. Is Mr. John Delamere troubled with any condition that may cause him to die? Mistress Delamere, the news is very grave. The stars tell of your husband being under the spell of a witch. Know you of a woman in your husband's circle suspected of being a witch? A disgruntled sister left penniless by feudal inheritance laws, perchance? Mayhap a local cat enthusiast, or a Scottish neighbour?
Nay, as true as I live, sir, I do not. But I will be sure to make inquiries. Good day, Dr. Foreman.
Sibyl's a fine host, of this she will oft boast. She loves to entertain, she loves to entertain. Though hard she does try, her dinners go awry. And in tears and shame.
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day?
I did lately experience feelings of a most strange and disturbing nature, for which I desire an explanation.
I see. Prithee describe these feelings to me, madam. When did they occur?
Last eve, at a dinner party hosted by my dear friend Mistress Emma Delamere. All was well at first, but soon after my arrival I was stricken with a kind of madness.
Madness, you say?
Yes, moments during which I found myself overcome with feelings of mirth, laughing most immoderately at the dullest of remarks made by other guests. At other times I felt an unnatural fascination with the shape of the candelabra in the table centrepiece. And all the while I was so ravenous with hunger, I quite absent-mindedly ate all the sweetmeats at my end of the table. I fear my rapaciousness did not escape the notice of guests seated beside me.
Such an immoderate appetite is out of character for you, I take it. It could not have merely been occasioned by anxious passions?
Why, nay, Dr. Foreman. Forsooth, I ought to have been very calm last eve, for I did spend the afternoon inhaling the fumes of an aromatic oil, a gift from my sweet husband, sent back from his explorations in the Near East. I did mention my husband, Captain Henry Fortescue, before, I think. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh. Oh, Henry and Sir Walter find the oil most relaxing, so he tells me.
Yet you were not so very relaxed last eve, I take it.
No, not in the least, for I fear a capricious spell was cast upon me. Over the course of the evening, I developed the strongest intuition that malignant forces were present in the room, and that I had been bewitched. Could it be true, Dr. Foreman? Might a witch have cast a spell on me?
That is something we shall have to ask the stars, madam. Let us see. What was it that afflicted Mistress Sybil Fortescue last eve at dinner? You are lucky to be alive, madam. It does seem that a witch was indeed the author of your unusual feelings at dinner. I believe she wished for you to eat yourself to death, or mayhap impale yourself on the candelabra you mentioned. Could there have been a witch in attendance at dinner last even? A suspiciously intelligent woman with a penchant for murder, perchance?
Aye, indeed. Our hostess, Mistress Emma Delamere. I did hear some rumours about her, but I have never paid them heed. Although if it be the professional opinion of a learned man that Emma is a witch, then doubtless 'tis full true.
Well, madam, as the enchantment she cast upon you seems to have been but temporary, I simply advise you to be vigilant next time you dine with your friend Mistress Delamere. Do not afford her the chance to slip any potions into your wine, for instance, or pluck any hairs from your head to make spells with.
Indeed, sir, I shall be most vigilant. I thank you for solving this mystery for me, Dr. Foreman. God give you good morrow.